Ever notice how everyone says, "You can be anything," but we're all just tired? It's a strange paradox, isn't it? The world is supposedly filled with infinite possibilities, but our daily reality feels more like a finite loop. Wake up, work, eat, buy things, sleep, and then do it all over again. We call it a life, but sometimes it feels more like a script we didn't write. Somewhere along the way, the grand promise of freedom got twisted into a promise of exhaustion. The dream of self-fulfillment was replaced with the goal of just making it to the weekend. This is the modern trap. Welcome to the world of late-stage capitalism, the system that sold us the idea of choice, and then quietly handed us a leash. We were told we could fly, but we were given a cage, albeit a comfortable one with fast Wi-Fi and 2-day shipping. But a cage is still a cage. Let's talk about how we got here, and more importantly, how we might find a way out. Capitalism, you have to admit, is built on a genius story. It's a narrative so powerful, so pervasive, that most of us don't even recognize it as a story. It tells you, you're free. You're the master of your own destiny. You're in the driver's seat. It's a beautiful, empowering message. But let's look closer at the terms and conditions. You are free to work wherever you want, as long as you keep working to pay the bills. The freedom to choose your employer is real, but the necessity to have one is absolute for most of us. You're free to buy whatever you want, as long as you keep wanting, and keep earning the money to buy it. The illusion is that you are making independent choices. You think you're choosing your path, your career, your lifestyle. But in reality, the system has already laid out the available paths for you. It just gave you 10 slightly different versions of the same pre-approved life. You can be an engineer in a glass tower, or a graphic designer in a trendy co-working space. You can drive a sensible sedan or a rugged SUV. You can choose a cozy house with a picket fence or a sleek downtown apartment. These feel like wildly different choices, but they all operate within the same fundamental structure. Work, earn, consume, repeat. The 19th century philosopher Karl Marx had a term for this: false consciousness. It's the state of mind where you believe you are acting freely and in your own best interest, when in fact, you are acting in ways that benefit the system that confines you. It's the illusion that you're in control, when really the system controls the very limits of your imagination. It defines what success looks like, what happiness is, and what a good life entails. You're not choosing from an infinite menu. You're choosing from a pre-selected buffet, where every dish is designed to keep you coming back for more. This leads us directly into the relentless loop of work and consumption. Think about your life for a moment. You work hard to afford things, and many of those things are designed to help you forget how hard you work. You spend 50 weeks a year grinding away at a job that causes burnout, just to afford a 2-week vacation to a tropical paradise, to recover from that same burnout. It's a perfectly closed circuit. You get home from a long day, mentally and physically drained. You're too tired to create, too tired to think deeply, too tired to connect meaningfully. So what do? You scroll through social media, you binge watch a series, you add items to your online shopping cart, you consume. And this isn't a personal failing. It's a feature of the system. An exhausted population is a compliant population. A distracted population is a profitable one. Psychologists have a name for this phenomenon: the hedonic treadmill. You run faster and faster. You earn more money. You buy nicer things. But your baseline level of happiness stays exactly the same. The new car is thrilling for a month. The promotion feels great for a week. The new phone is exciting until the next model is announced. You keep chasing the next hit of dopamine, believing it will finally bring lasting satisfaction. But the finish line keeps moving. You're always running, but you never actually get anywhere. The philosopher Albert Camus famously wrote in The Myth of Sisyphus, "The struggle itself towards the heights is enough to fill a man's heart." It's a beautiful sentiment about finding meaning in effort. But let's be brutally honest. Camus didn't have Slack notifications blowing up his phone at 10 p.m. He wasn't dealing with a performance review tied to quarterly growth targets. The struggle can be meaningful, but a pointless, repetitive struggle designed to enrich someone else, that doesn't fill the heart. It drains the soul. And this is where the system gets even more insidious. The chains it uses to bind us are often disguised as comfort, as tradition, as the very definition of a meaningful life. Capitalism doesn't just sell you products. It sells you a pre-packaged version of meaning. Think about the standard life script. Go to college, get a good job, get married, buy a house, have kids, climb the corporate ladder. These aren't just life events. They are economic functions. Each step is not just a personal milestone, but a moment of deep participation in the capitalist machine. Buying a home means taking on a 30-year mortgage, tethering you to a steady income. Having children creates new consumers and future laborers. Climbing the ladder ensures the management structure of the system remains intact. We're pushed to chase these things, not really for our own happiness, but because that's how the system keeps itself going. Every generation is both the buyer and the product. The philosopher Erich Fromm described this brilliantly when he coined the term, the marketing personality. He argued that in a market-driven society, we stop being human beings and start becoming human brands. We package ourselves for the job market, curate our lives on social media, and network not to build genuine connections, but to increase our market value. Our personality becomes a commodity to be sold. The question is no longer who am I, but how can I present myself to be most desirable to others? The system doesn't need your happiness. It doesn't need your self-actualization. It just needs your participation. Your continued, predictable, and profitable participation. And that's one of the main reasons we're all so busy, so perpetually overwhelmed. Because busy people don't have time to stop and question the structure of their lives. Busy people don't revolt. So, the big question remains, if this system is so trapping, why don't we just quit? Why don't we all just walk away from the 9-to-5 and reject the consumerist lifestyle? The answer is simple and terrifying. Because we were trained not to. The psychology of obedience is woven into the fabric of our lives from the very beginning. School doesn't just teach you math and history. It teaches you how to show up on time, follow instructions, and respect authority. It prepares you for the workplace. Then, work itself teaches dependence. Your livelihood, your health insurance, your ability to provide for your family, it's all tied to your job. The fear of losing that is a powerful motivator to stay in line. And all the while, advertisements relentlessly teach you desire. They create insecurities and then sell you the cure. They tell you what you should want, who you should be, and how you should feel. School teaches obedience. Work teaches dependence. Ads teach desire. After decades of this conditioning, is it any wonder that true freedom feels terrifying? The idea of a life without a clear path, without a boss, without a predefined set of goals is daunting. The philosopher Herbert Marcuse wrote about how we come to recognize ourselves in our commodities. They find their soul in their car, their gadgets, their home. When our identity becomes so entangled with the things we own and the job titles we hold, losing them feels like losing ourselves. That's not a life. That's a branding exercise. So what's the answer? Where do we go from here? Maybe the real rebellion isn't as dramatic as quitting your job to live in a cabin in the mountains, though, for some, it might be. Maybe the first, most powerful act of rebellion is much quieter. Maybe it's just slowing down long enough to ask yourself a simple, honest question. Do I actually want this? Do I want this promotion? Do I want this bigger house? Do I want this lifestyle that social media tells me I should crave? Or am I just following a script? Capitalism thrives on automatic behavior. It feeds on mindless consumption, on the unthinking acceptance of the way things are. Awareness is bad for business. Self-reflection is a threat to the status quo. So the next time you're about to make a big decision, or even a small one, just pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself why. The simple act of questioning is an act of reclaiming your own mind. The next time someone tells you, with a shrug, that's just how the world works, smile. Because that's exactly what people in power said right before every major revolution in history. If this video made you pause and think, even for just a second, then you've already started to break the loop. The first step is always awareness. Hit that like button if you've ever felt trapped in the 9-to-5 grind. And subscribe if you're ready to keep questioning the system with us one thought at a time. Thanks for watching.